Okay, hi you guys, it's Kate and King and welcome back to my channel. So, like when I say I cannot make this shit up, I cannot make this shit up. Like it's weird how the world works sometimes, okay? So, there I was yesterday and I went to therapy. If you guys don't know, I'm in therapy and I suggest it to literally everybody, but not all therapists are the same. It's like dating, you kind of have to find the right one. Yeah, had a bad experience with that one time. One time I had a therapist tell on me. Disgusting. Anyways, so here we are yesterday. I'm talking to my therapist, and since my last little video, which we'll get into in a second, but anyways, it's been 2 months since I've made that video, and it's funny because I'm just in such a different headspace, which is funny because I went on video saying like, oh, I'm like in this new good headspace. No, that was not a good headspace. I think where we are now is so, so much better. Also, yes, we lost 20 pounds. 20 more to go. So, wish me luck. Not 20 more. Really, I just want to lose 10 more, and then we'll be back to where we were. But I was in therapy yesterday, and I have not talked about Reed or like, like honestly, like after everything happened with Reed and me, I hit rock bottom, hated my life, was going through a shitstorm, and it just kind of made me like wake up and smell the coffee a little bit. I just was like, okay, we're not doing this anymore. We're not doing friends. We're not doing coworkers. We're not dating. We're not giving anybody my time. We're not doing toxic family members. We are just going to be, for once in my life, honestly, selfish. And when I say selfish, I really don't mean it in like I'm trying to screw anybody over or like that kind of selfish, but more along the lines of I feel like I have given my all to everybody my whole life, whereas now we're giving Caden his all. So it's really just kind of me taking the time to give back to myself, which I don't do, which I don't like doing. And just really working on me. That's how I was able to lose 20 pounds because instead of wasting my time with bullshit, I have had time to work out. I have had time to go to therapy. I am doing all this reading and learning and growth and YouTube and like just all these like videos of just trying to put myself in a better headspace, trying to heal, finally accepting, how insecure I am and finally just like embracing like all this pain that I've gone through because the thing about me is I'm very good at putting my pain aside or pushing it down or trying not to feel what I feel versus like actually feeling that trauma and like kind of healing it. I'm just someone who's always been good at hiding it and ignoring it and doing basically anything to keep my mind off of it. So this was really just like, I don't know, just like a big come to Jesus moment. And I've just been really working on myself. So, anyways, I really haven't been talking or thinking about Reed. And honestly, in a healthy way, no. I've just kind of put him in a box because I really don't want to process it, deal with it. I'm trying to work on all this, and maybe we'll get to that box eventually. So I haven't talked to my therapist about just nothing to do with Reed for the past 2 months. And then all of a sudden, randomly, my therapist brought up Reed yesterday. He's like, you know what? Like, let's just jump to Reed for a second. And I was like, oh God, here we go. And I really didn't think much of it because in my head, like for me, that's something I can never have back. It was something I wanted and Reed did not want. So with that Reed not wanting situation, like there was nowhere to build on it or go anywhere with it. So I just like in my head, like I was like, Kaden, I know you want this, but it's over. It's not gonna happen. And so I just haven't brought him up at all. So, anyways, my therapist brings him up yesterday and he's like, I want to talk about Reed for a second because I've seen you do all this growth on like being more confident, just putting yourself first and, just trying to be your best in everything you do. And he was like, let's just go back for a second and talk about Reed. And I want to talk about what are the things that you really liked about Reed. And I was like, okay. And then I was like, he said, give me 3 things. And I was like, he's an amazing father. He is an amazing provider. And the third one is kind of funny because I said, I like that Reed's insecure. And you're probably thinking like, what the heck? Like, why would you want the person you love to be insecure? But what I mean when I say I like that Reed's insecure, I like that Reed at one point didn't have it all and he wasn't his best version of himself. And I don't know, I've just seen him struggle through a lot of different things. And I think because he's gone through all those things and it has made him a little insecure, I think it's also made him a very loving and accepting person of others. So when I felt like I dated him, he was, so kind about all my flaws and faults. So those were the 3 things I said. And then we talked about that for a minute, and then my therapist was like, well, what are the 3 things you don't like about Reed? And he's like, give me 3 things. And I was like, for one, Reed is, I think, a poor communicator. Second, he couldn't commit to what we were. And then third, that he's insecure. And then this part of Reed's insecurity that I can't stand is this idea that Reed, he's been married to a woman. He's been, for so many years. And like, now that he's getting this divorce or whatever he's doing, he's all of a sudden has to have this hot body, put on this persona. Well, I mean, he is wealthy, but like, put on this persona, like, I've got money, like, let me. It's not that he flexes money, but, and he knows, like, he can get in, like, I have never really called someone an asshole and meant it. Like, Reed's, like, can be an asshole. So, sometimes Reed likes to be an ass. And I think now that he has this hot body and, like, I don't know. Hopefully I'm making sense here, but there's another insecure part of Reed that makes him build up walls, not want to talk about his feelings, things like that, which I don't love. Or feeling like I was in this constant push and pull from him, where one minute he wanted me, one minute he didn't. And, you know, it's just funny because we talked about it for a while, and then I think, you know, yesterday talking about it, I was kind of like, it's not that I cried in my therapy session, but I realized, like, us talking about it, I kind of had to get the box down and open it, and it was kind of like Pandora's box in a way, because I'm like, oh shit, like, this is a lot of stuff that I've kind of put on the back burner and haven't thought about, felt, dealt with. So then I was starting to get really emotional about it, and I was like, shit, maybe I'm not always over this as I thought I was, like, but then we kind of got into just the idea, like, it doesn't matter what I think and how I feel about it or how I'm going to process it, because I was telling my therapist, I feel like the only way to get to that closing chapter is just something I can't have, because it would require Reed to talk to me. But even if Reed talks to me, I'm not going to feel that same way anymore. Does that make sense? I'm going to instantly flip and just want to be with him again. And it's just going to start the whole healing thing over. And that's kind of the tricky thing. And, you know, maybe it's a good reason I don't talk to Kyle and Victor. Maybe, like, Kyle, not so much. Kyle, like, I just think we were good being done. But, like, you know, if Victor, because when I came home, Victor did try to call me a bunch. And I knew the more I talked to Victor, the more I would likely just want to be back with him and then end up in that same pattern. And, you know, the same thing is with Reed, where I feel like if he talks to me, it's going to just make me want to be with him. Because I still feel that way. I've never wanted, like, honestly, and that's what I got into it with my therapist. Like, I've never wanted to be with someone more. And until I don't, like, I really don't know. Because I used to think that way about Victor, and then I met Reed. And I used to think about that way about Kyle, and then I met Victor. And it's just this thing where, you know, I'm not dating right now. So there's no way to really get over it if I'm not finding someone new to have those dreams and hopes for, like I did with Reed, if that makes sense. So it's just been kind of this weird thing. So anyways, then I just kind of came to the conclusion with my therapist, like, look, like, the only way I can get over this is it's just something I don't think I ever will. I think that's just my personality. I don't get over relationships. I don't get over friendships. I don't get over coworkers. Like, every person that comes into my life has a place in my mind and my heart, and it doesn't matter if I hate you. It doesn't matter if I love you. It doesn't matter if I can't stand you. You have an impact on me, and that impact never goes away. So, yeah, that's just kind of where I left things with my therapist. And then, you know, I had to go to work or whatever, so I wasn't really thinking, like, I was like, whew, that was tough. Like, now I'm having all these feelings of Reed being brought back up, which was just so crazy. And then I shit you not, go home after work, climb into bed. It is like 11 o'clock. I'm like, why am I not asleep yet? Like, what the heck? I'm just on my phone, scrolling through TikTok, I have the TV on, and I get a text. Of all days, it has been 2 months, and I get a text message from Reed. And I was like, oh my holy shit. And this is what, I'm going to read it word for word, because I honestly need someone's opinion. And he said, hey, saw your YouTube. When I'm in Utah later in the summer, it would be nice to talk to you and maybe explain more of where I was coming from. You weren't wrong, though. Lots of truth in what you said. I hope you are good. Smiley face. I about fell over, and when, obviously my last videos are when me and Reed broke up and I spiraled, but then I, like, kind of panicked because I couldn't remember what I said, so I instantly jumped to go watch the videos back. And when I tell you cringe, and the only reason I'm making this video is because I really was just not in a good headspace when I made those 3 videos. I should have just never, I don't know, I just watch them back now and I'm like, okay, you were spiraling, you were upset, you were sad, and it's just not the story I wanted to tell or how I wanted to tell it. And I feel like every time I try to tell it, it just doesn't compute what actually happened or just how hard I felt for him. So anyways, so then I was watching that and I was like, oh my god, this is like so weird. But then all of a sudden he's sending me this text that he wants 2 months of not talking to me, and then all of a sudden, like, because I really thought he didn't care. Like, I thought we were done, like, doesn't care. 2 months went by, I was like, hey, obviously doesn't care about my feelings. I'm sure there will be some new twink for him to date. Great. And that was another big thing. I was like, I'm fine. Like, I'm not fine, but, like, I'm fine. I will not be fine if I ever have to see Reed with another human being. that will destroy me. That's why I'm so glad I am blocked from Victor. Kyle's ex, I don't care. I've seen it, but don't care about that one. But if I ever have to see Victor with his boyfriend, I will die. And same thing. And there's higher of a chance because Reed claims he wants to move back to Utah. If I ever have to see him with another man, I will die. I will literally, but not really, but it will suck. So many emotions are going on. And I keep debating, should I text him back? Should I not text him back? Should I text him back? And it's just so funny because I feel like of all days, like I just had this talk with my therapist. So anyways, I said, ugh, I have so many emotions. I don't even know what to say. I probably need to go back and watch and delete those videos. I couldn't talk to you and I just had to talk to someone about it. Why are you reaching out now? Question mark. I honestly thought I would never hear from you again. It's funny, actually, my therapist brought you up today and we haven't really talked about you in a long time. It wasn't all bad, Reed. I love you and I always will. Like I said, I don't even know what to say. There's so many ways to look at this, but mostly right now, there's just pain and sadness. But yeah, I guess if you're ever in Utah, ... And then I said, I was going to leave it at that. And then, of course, me being me, I said, would you want to call this week and talk? And then he replied, this is after I went to sleep, but he replied and he said, I was just reaching out because I had watched the videos yesterday. I wasn't going to, but after seeing them, I wanted to. Hope that's okay. I feel you think I have a cold heart and this was easy for me, but it wasn't. It's hard for me to see you sad, so please don't be. No pain and sadness, okay? I'm not with any other guy, nor will I be. But yes, now that the dust has settled and everything, I'd like a chance to talk while in Utah in the summer. And then I said this morning, I'm glad you did. When you just went silent, were able to not talk to me, it felt like you didn't care. I don't think you have a cold heart, but I do think you act on insecurity and trauma. You close off and put up walls. I mean, I'm not perfect. If we both had our shit fixed from the beginning, I think it would have been a lot different. So, a couple things going through my head. And this is where I have this back and forth debate. Because I texted him that this morning, haven't heard from him. And I said, would you want to call this week and talk? And that's my point, is I'll try to make these, like, steps. But you can tell when he jumps over something and completely ignores what I said. Like how I said, do you want to call this week and talk? And he just ignores it. And, you know, it just goes back to that push and pull thing that I'm talking about where, like, which is it? You know, it's like 1 minute I get this, 1 minute I get that, and then I try to be nice and understanding and think, okay, he's insecure, he's been through a lot of shit, he's going through a lot, his kids are going through a lot, like, I'm the least of his concern right now. But still, like, it's just, it doesn't make sense. So if someone can, like, give me their feedback and tell me how it should make sense, because to me it does not. But I don't know. Honestly, I really don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna ignore it and keep doing what I've been doing for the past 2 months, but I just had to get this off my chest, and I feel like this video is 20 times better than the old video I posted, and I'm probably gonna private those videos for a while until everyone forgets about them, but yeah, I just don't know, and I think, you know, I make these videos, and when I made the other 2 videos, I didn't think Reed was gonna see them. It's just for me to get off what's happening in my chest and brain, because I feel like I can't talk to Reed about it, so I have to, and it's the same thing. It was the same thing with Kyle and Victor. I felt like I couldn't talk to them about it, so I had to come on here and just, even if no one watches this, that's the point. I hope no one watches this. Like, because I don't even want him to see this video, because these are, like, kind of my own personal private thoughts, but, like, I guess, like, I know I'm putting it out there, so if he sees it, like, it doesn't matter, but it's just kind of this push and pull of, yeah, just I don't know what to do about this situation, and, like, then it just scares me because, like, he wants to see me in the summer and talk, and, like, you know, what does that mean? Like, does he need closure? Like, is this just so he can feel better about himself? Or, like, does he miss me? Like, and if I see him, like, I don't know, because if I see him, A, it's gonna be really hard, but B, like, all I'm gonna want to do is, like, kiss the man. Like, all I'm gonna want is the old relationship that we had back. And not the shitty after part, but the part where he was pursuing me, and the part where we went on trips together, and when he was my little Reed in shining armor. So that's really the only update I have. I had to make this because I had to get it off my chest, because I don't see my therapist for another 2 weeks, and I had to tell somebody. But yeah, that's just my little update. And now that I'm finally, like, skinny again, or skinny-ish, and I feel like I'm way better, like, I want to start making YouTube videos that just aren't about boys. But I love you guys so much, and honestly, please tell me your thoughts below, because I have no idea what I'm doing. But I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next video.